What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Create from Truth podcast. I'm your host, Will, and if you haven't noticed already, in this episode today, it is a video podcast. So it's been a little bit since I've uploaded, about 3 weeks. Reason being is because I want to take the podcast to the next level. This podcast, by far and away, has been one of the most transformational pieces inside of my own coaching business, but also more importantly for you guys. You guys listening to this podcast, getting value from it, applying it. If you're working with me or not, my goal with this podcast is to give you all the information that you need in order to go full-time online in your coaching businesses, but also make good profit, excellent revenue, and make sure that you're changing your ideal types of clients' lives through world-class coaching systems and attracting them with good marketing that is rooted in integrity. That's my goal with everything. So this podcast is a vehicle to be able to communicate that message. And to go even deeper with it, every single podcast that I'm going to upload from now on is also going to be in video format, okay? So this is really important because in some of the episodes that I'm going to start sharing with you guys, there's going to be some visual elements to it. In fact, there is right now. If you're not watching it, if you're listening to it, I'm currently sharing my screen on a slide saying, what is the value video? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go through a couple of graphics and we're going to get this rolling. But first things first, if you guys are not following me on YouTube yet, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Will Schiller Consulting. At Will Schiller, SCHILLER Consulting. None of you guys are following me there yet because I just created it today, but make sure that you go there and follow me there and subscribe there because there's a few of these episodes that I'm going to want you guys to rewatch. I'm going to want you guys to refer back to, and that's very much what my plan is for these episodes moving forward, is just making sure that they're educational pieces of content that you guys can apply immediately to see measurable results inside of your coaching businesses. So that's it for the intro. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well because I'm going to be posting a lot more video style podcasts and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the value video today. So the value video is one of the elements that I teach inside of my coaching. If you're joining me in Fundamentals Mastery or if you're joining me inside of my one-on-one coaching, I teach it both ways. Obviously, with my one-on-one clients, I go a lot deeper and I make it with them and review it 10 times over until we perfect it and it's converting at 70, 80, 90%. And I know that seems like a lot, but that is the conversion rate some of my one-on-one clients get from the value video process. And essentially what it is, guys, to get this presentation rolling, when I was building Schiller Fitness back in 2017, I joined a couple masterminds, I hired a couple business coaches, and especially at that time, thank God the industry has changed since then, but especially at that time, the concepts that I was learning and the strategies that I was learning, it was very salesy. It was very direct in a way that didn't really sit well with me. And to go a little bit deeper in that, to explain that feeling even more, the feeling that I got is that we were just kind of treating everyone as numbers. Like it was just a numbers game. And we lost sight of the human element of actually working with clients and actually working with human beings to get the results that they want and transform their lives, and the vehicle of health and fitness, which we're all doing in just different capacities and different examples depending on who our ideal type of client is and what we're doing. But what I was learning at the time, like I said, it just seemed very transactional. It just seemed very surface level. It just seemed like it was all about money. And don't get me wrong, I talk about money a lot. Money is extremely important inside of your online coaching businesses, but not when you put it over the person, the soul of the person, who they are. And that is how I've built all my companies, in terms of understanding that element and infusing that into a lot of the processes that I teach. And that's very much what I've done with the value video as well, which I'm about to go through with you. And at this time, I'll never forget this, guys. At this time, those first few years of growing Schiller Fitness, 2017, 18, I would hop on sales calls with potential clients. I was DMing a lot of people. I was posting content, and it just kind of felt like I had to twist my ideal types of clients' arm to get on a phone call with me. It kind of felt like some of the things I was learning from different business coaches was to ask them certain questions and then use their words against them almost in a way and kind of manipulate the process to join my program. And honestly, I just hated it. I hated it, and I would avoid it. And I kind of had a rock bottom moment, if you will, where I said, you know what, if this is the way I have to grow my health and fitness coaching business, I actually don't even want to be a health and fitness coach anymore. Like if this is what it takes, because that's how much it didn't sit well with me. So what I did, and this was kind of like the last ditch effort, but what I did is I said, okay, well, I love health and fitness coaching. I want to grow my online health and fitness coaching business. I'm going to try and do this in my own way. So literally what I thought, guys, and how I created this process. And by the way, the value video is not something that I created from scratch. It's a spin-off of like webinars or of VSLs, things like that. I just use it in a very different way, which I don't think anyone has used before. But it's not something I created from scratch. It's different elements of different marketing systems that I've learned in the past, and I've created like this hybrid approach that is rooted in integrity. It's rooted in the law of reciprocity and understanding human emotions and what drives us, and making sure that it's a win-win between your client and between you as the coach. Anyway, so I remember thinking when I created this value video and I know this is kind of selfish, but I thought about myself and I thought, okay, well, if I were to spend $3,000 or $5,000 on a health and fitness coach, how would I want to be sold to? How would I want to be communicated with? What would the buying process be that I would be blown away by? And then that's when I came up with the value video and understood what this could look like. Now, I'm going to go through it today a little bit deeper. Just a side note, or in the next couple of podcasts as well, which I'm going to upload this week, I'm going to go even deeper into it and show you some behind the scenes and show you some different social proof and what it looks like inside of your own coaching businesses. But when it comes to the actual value video in and of itself, what it is that it's a process that I created, and it turns a cold prospect into a committed client in as little as 48 hours and as little as 2 days. And this is transformational because of a couple of reasons. Number one, usually it takes your ideal types of clients to see your content on Instagram, on LinkedIn, whatever it may be, for a period of between 3 to 6 months before they're ready to have a conversation with you and before they're ready to have a potential sales call with you. Okay. So 3 to 6 months, that's a long time. That's 90 days. That's 120 days, 160 days. Like it's a long time. Whereas this process, you can go from someone who has no idea who you are, what you do, how you can help them, to understanding exactly who you are, exactly what you do, and exactly how specifically you can help them on an individual level in 24 to 48 hours. So it's very effective, and it compresses that buying journey into a very short amount of time. And it's extremely, extremely impactful. I'm going to make my video a little bit bigger, and we're going to get into this. So something that's also important is this. Most coaches, especially if you're a coach and you're around 5, 10K a month, a little bit less, a little bit more, it doesn't really matter. You're probably trying to grow your coaching business in a million different ways. You're trying a low ticket subscription. You have a high ticket coaching offer. Maybe you have a medium ticket offer as well. You have a website. You have a couple different funnels for a couple different products. Maybe you're running a couple ads here and there. Maybe you do a monthly newsletter. You're DMing people. You're following up with people. That's a lot of moving parts. And I can almost guarantee you none of it is working that well. And the reason why is because you're a one-man show or one-woman show right now inside of your coaching business, and you need to focus on something that is going to get you the most results in the shortest amount of time, which is exactly what the value video is. But I can't teach it to you yet unless you first understand that you need to stop doing all of these things that is wasting your time, and you need to focus on the one thing that is going to get you the most bang for your buck in terms of your energy, in terms of your effort. Right? Because all these other things that you're doing, don't get me wrong, they can work to a certain extent, but none of them will all work at its highest capacity all at once when you're focusing on these little time blocks in the day doing all of them at a very shallow level. I would rather you go all in on something, spend most of your time, energy, and effort into something that is going to get you the most amount of results, which is exactly what the value video is. So I know what you guys are probably thinking at this point. You're like, okay, I'm starting to understand what you're talking about, Will. I'm not totally sure yet because you haven't shared it. But I've tried this before. I've sent videos to different ideal types of clients and they never got back to me, or I've DM'd different people and I would send them like a video message in the DMs and it didn't really go the way I wanted it to go. And I send over a lot of DMs like my business coach is telling me to, like, hey brother, glad we connected. Looking forward to learning a little bit more about what you do. Tell me, what exactly are you doing for your health and fitness at the moment? ? Right? Like maybe you're sending a lot of those DMs out. And again, don't get me wrong. It's a good place to start, sure. But what you want to do, and this is very much what I teach inside of the value video framework, is you want to go deeper. Because when you send out messages like that, and this is where I'm talking about how you guys are probably spinning your wheels in your online coaching businesses, it probably takes around 100, maybe 90, maybe 120, but give or take 100 of those messages in order to book 3 to 5 calls with you, right? Like that's a lot. That's a lot of messages to book just 3 to 5 calls. So in my opinion, that's not really a good return on your investment in terms of your time, right? Let alone the long-term impact of your brand. So what I mean by that is if you have, let's say, 1,000 followers, 1,500 followers on Instagram or LinkedIn, whatever it is, if you're DMing them all the time and your audience isn't growing that much, guess what's going to happen 3 months from now? You've burnt out your audience. And there's no real coming back from that, especially if you've offered them things and they haven't bought or they haven't hopped on your call or whatever it may be. Now you have burnt out your audience. You don't really have any assets and you're in a dark place in your business once you get to that point. So instead of doing that, I teach value videos because value videos use the science of understanding human behavior, human desires, and the law of reciprocity to our own advantage. So I'm going to get into that here in a second. But before I do that, I want to talk about the facts because especially in today's marketplace, there are more online coaches than ever in human history, right? Everyone's a coach nowadays, even if you're an in-person trainer or even if you're a gym owner or even if you're working in 9 to 5, everyone is doing coaching on the side if you're in health and fitness. So the competition has never been stiffer in terms of there's a lot of quantity in the marketplace. There's a lot of coaches who are DMing your prospects, right? Also, with the rise of AI, people don't know if they're talking to you. People don't know if they're talking to a robot or a chat bot. And the trust level of your ideal types of clients are at an all-time low because of it. So value videos fix this. And it's funny that I created this process like 6 years ago because it actually works even better in today's marketplace with just the way things have been trending. And what it does is it increases the trust that your ideal type of client has for you in a very short amount of time. It also increases the intent. So what I mean by intent is they are intending to learn more about your coaching. They're intending to invest in your coaching versus a low intent prospect means they're not going to take an action. Sure, maybe they can DM you back or hop on a call with you, but they're nowhere close to buying. So that's a low intent prospect. So what value videos do is it creates a high intent prospect. And what value videos do is it demonstrates your process to your ideal type of client and shows them who you are in terms of a coach, why you created your business, what your mission is, why you work with your ideal type of client. It shows them, hey, based off of the conversation we had on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, in person, wherever you're talking to your ideal type of client, I know these are the problems that you're struggling with. I know this is where you want to get to. So my ABC coaching program solves this overall problem, and here's how it works. Pillar number 1, here's how it would work for you. Pillar number 2, here's how it would work for you, specifically you, Jack or Dave or whoever you're talking to. Pillar number 3, here's how it would specifically work in your life. And then at the end of these 3 months in the front end program, these are the results that you could see, and it would solve your overall problem. And then we can have a conversation, because every problem, every solution that you solve creates a new problem, right? So maybe they lose 20 pounds, which is great, or 15 pounds of fat, which is great. Their face looks leaner. They have more energy. They're having better sex. Life is great. But you lost a lot of weight. So now we need to go into a recomp stage over the next 6 to 12 months, and that will be your back end program, right? And you can communicate a lot of these things, not necessarily the back end stuff, because that's for when they're a client, but you can communicate a lot of these things on your value video before you have a sales call. You can even price marinate as well. So you can say something like, depending on the package that you choose, the investment to work with me is between $500 a month to $1,000 a month, or whatever it is, whatever your price point is. And they're going to watch that, especially because it was specifically made for them. So now all of a sudden you're getting higher intent leads on the phone call, because A, you went through your entire process already, and B, what you've done is you've also price marinated what your investment is going to be. So they already are understanding that. They're not going to get sticker shock, if you will, on the phone call. So if they accept a phone call with you after that, there's a huge likelihood that they're going to become a client. And this is exactly why I teach it, because I don't want you guys to waste your time on leads that aren't going to become clients, right? Especially on phone calls. So let's make this even more practical, okay? Here's what I want you to do by the end of this video. So I want to make this interactive. I want you to pick 10 prospects who match your ideal type of client. So if you guys are on Instagram, pick 10 there that you've been talking to, or that you know have been watching your stories all the way through, or that you know have been engaging in your content in any way, listening to your podcast. If it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, I don't care. I want you to, or if it's in person at the gym, at your local coffee shop, in your inner circle network of friends and family, I don't care. I want you to pick 10 prospects. And then I want you to send a personalized message with high quality to each person. So what I mean by this is not, hey, Jack, what are your health and fitness goals over the next 3 months? Like, not that. Like, actually connect with them as a human first, and then have it naturally lead into fitness from there. I can do an entirely different training on this in terms of having conversations with ideal types of clients. It's outside of the scope with this training. I more so want to go over the value video. But what I'll say is this. If you're having a prospecting conversation with someone, it should honestly be, especially at the beginning stages of the conversation, it should be no different than having a conversation with someone at the coffee shop. Like, a lot of coaches, when they're prospecting, they kind of get weird with how they talk, because they're trying to get a sale, and it's not normal, right? Like, they're too pushy, they're too direct, and it's just not how humans communicate. If you guys are following me, if you want to have a sales conversation with someone, connect with them as a human being first, like exactly like you'd have a conversation with someone in a coffee shop. And then when you see an in, you can naturally transition it to health and fitness and see what they're doing in their health and fitness, what their goals are, what they tried before, why it hasn't worked. But you don't necessarily start there unless they're coming to you and they're opting in to something, or they're having a conversation with you about something you posted. Well, then, yeah, you can save the small talk. You can be more direct. But when it comes to people in your inner circle, whatever it may be, it takes time. It takes time. So I want you to pick these 10 people, and then I want you to understand what their goals are when it comes to health and fitness. And once you get an answer to that, that's point B. And then point A is why they're stuck. What is the overall problem that they're struggling with? Then once you're done, I want you to send them a 5 to 10 minute video on what they should do to move forward to get to their goals. Okay. Now, side note, obviously inside of my coaching program, I've got the entire process that I've perfected over the last 7 years of how exactly this video should be orchestrated. In fact, I've actually updated it recently as well over the last few months, which I'm really excited to show my current clients. So I can't share with you the exact process because that's for my coaching, but You guys, it's not that hard. Like, show your process, create a couple of slides on Canva. What are the main pillars of your coaching program? What problem does it solve? What results could they see? Show a couple of ideal types of clients as well that you've worked with before that have seen good results. And then if you send that video to those 10 prospects, about 3 to 5 should book in a call with you. Now, the reason why I'm saying 3 to 5 is because I want to preface your expectations. If you're doing this on your own without my process, 3 to 5 people is an incredible success rate. That's 30 to 50% of value videos sent out become clients. That's amazing. My clients get 70 to 80%. Obviously, because I'm doing it with them. I'm talking about my private clients here because I do it with them. And we perfect it over a period of months. And it's one of the main things that we focus on. But for you guys, if you're not getting any clients right now, or you need to get your next 10 clients, this is a great way to start. Great way to start. So that's what I would do. And it's not complicated, guys. Like, in less than 48 hours, you can have prospects that don't know exactly who you are, don't know what you do, don't know what results they could see inside of your coaching program, pull out their credit card and become a high ticket client. And I'm super biased in me saying this, so take this, what I'm about to say, with a grain of salt, because obviously I created this process. But I've spent well over $200K on coaches, on business mentorships, masterminds, and I've learned everything under the sun when it comes to getting clients. And a lot of it's great, don't get me wrong. A lot of it works to an extent, which is awesome. But when it comes to you guys, based off of where you're at in your coaching business, and honestly, myself included, I still use the value video to this day. I've never seen anything more effective than this. To use an analogy, it's kind of like a lot of other business coaches teach this, like DM 100 people a day. It's like a spray and pray, like just hope you get clients. Where for me, it's like a sniper rifle, if you will. I'm very specific. That's the client that you want. That's the client that you'll get. That's the client that you want. That's the client that you'll get. You're not wasting energy in all of these different areas. It's very efficient and it's very profitable as well. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on ads, all of this time building out crazy funnels that never really work the way that you want it to. So what I want you guys to do, and I'm going to end this here, I want you to start building this now. I know I'm not going specific into the details of creating that. I'm going to save that for another podcast, but I want to plant the seed in this podcast episode. And I want you guys to start to apply this, start to learn this, start to understand what this could look like for you inside of your own online health and fitness coaching businesses. Reason being is because just thinking about it, understanding conceptually how to communicate to your ideal types of clients who you are, what you do, and how you can specifically help them, that is the holy grail trifecta of the 3 main elements that is going to help your ideal type of client make a qualified buying decision with you. Okay. So, and that's exactly what the value video is designed to do. So if you're a coach, you're around 5K a month, you want to scale to 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month, you want to use this process, let me know. You can send me over a message on Instagram and I can walk you through this even more in detail. But with that being said, wanted to just introduce this concept for you guys here. Hope you're having an awesome day. If you haven't already, go to YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel where I'm going to create videos on this episode and these different podcast episodes as well. So every single episode is going to have a video. It's going to have visual graphics and designs that I want to make sure that you guys are going through and applying to your own coaching businesses to see the results that I know you want to see. So with that being said, guys, hope you're having an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next episode.